All right. So I didn't do too much cleanup for this because I really wanted to show you just like how portable it is with the work surface. So if you have the work surface, you can just carry around all your pieces at once, which is pretty nice. I'm going to slide this off to the side for now, just showing you how useful it is. And let's look at this little square. This little square represents a foundation, and we were talking about that in a drawing that I want to emphasize from our build. Now this drawing is on sheet 2, and this sheet 2 drawing is talking about a footing and a foundation. These two pieces here. So let's zoom in on this so we can actually, let me put this down right on top of it so it holds it flat. I got a lot of curl in this. There we go. Okay, so we're building on top of wood. We're building a wood structure on top of a concrete foundation and a footing. So the footing is a little wider than the foundation. The foundation usually has bolts. These bolts that go up protrude through the pressure treated wood. And then on top of that wood, you put your floor joists. And on top of the floor joists, you put your subfloor. Okay, so there's a whole process. Oh, and then on top of your subfloor, you put your walls. So what I'm really talking about is right here, this area here. I made something that looks like this. Okay, like this piece here or this piece here. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. That's what this box represents. And you're like, but why? How does it do that? Well, let's take a look real quick. We had cut some floor pieces out last time. And now there's a lot of things that need to go on before this works. All right, this is the subfloor does not go right on top of the foundation. That's just not real. We do have a whole layer of floor in between, but this is the idea, is that the subfloor can go onto this. We might be able to glue it or whatever onto this, and that could really make it a nicer model, a nicer way to present the model. You could flip it over a little bit easier and like look at the bottom of it, see that anatomy of your corner model a little nicer. And so I looked at the dimensions in the drawing. Let's go back to here, sheet 2. I went back to this and determined about what size this was. Okay? And so this size has a lot to do with this width of the 2x10 going on top of it. Okay? So that's where this idea comes from. So it's almost that same width. I think I got it a little bit underneath, but that's okay. So those sizes are supposed to match up. And then this is the standing wall. So I mean, I think this one goes over here. And this one goes over here. So just to I'm just going to put it down really quickly, just so you can get an idea of what this will look like. Yeah. Yeah, I'm holding that there. It's not going to look great. I'm not trying to shoot for an award right now on how this looks, but I'm just trying to give you an idea of what that's going to do. Okay? So this is where we're going. This is what the future looks like, except there's going to be floor joists in this area, and there's going to be some buildup from the foundation. If I had gray paint, I would probably paint this gray to represent the foundation so that we could be very clear on this being the concrete in this model. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that, and I will have these available for pickup. I have a good system on how to make these now. It's going very quickly, and so if you want that, that can be that's going to be optional. But I think if I just wanted to like demonstrate something to you, look, I can pick the whole thing up. There's no nails in it, and I almost don't have any problem moving this around. Okay, so that's the idea. Is that this bottom piece? I'm going to gently move this all over. This bottom piece is very strong. This is out of pine. It's a softwood, but it's a lot harder than the balsa that we've been using for this entire project. So yeah, we're just trying to keep innovating, keep some cool stuff happening for us. And I think this will add to the presentation of your project. If I can find some gray paint, I'll paint this gray. So I think it will make a little bit more sense. But you know, that's future stuff. Let's get back to work here. So I'm going to move my walls off to the side. I'm going to move my floor that I've cut off to the side. All those pieces I try to keep separate. And let's go back to work here. All right. Now I usually have I usually am building right on top of this, but we're in between pieces. So we went back here, we looked at this, we finished this opening, and then the bigger problem was we have different plans. Some of us have the full sheets and some of us have the smaller sheets. There's no difference, but let's look at this as a whole. So here's the, let me make sure I'm all the way out here. Yeah. So here's the first sheet. We have now completed everything on the first sheet. We've completed the subfloor. We've completed the door section. This whole thing is sheet 1. Let's go to sheet 2. Okay, so we did this wall piece. This is just the anatomy of what we're doing. That's what we're talking about with the foundation components. Then over here, this area is the next area that we haven't done yet. It has a section about joists down here. So it says joists need 6 cut to correct length. Header need 1A and 1B. Note, use A on side 1, use B on side 2. So there's a difference there. Then we have sill, need 1 side A and 1 side B. Okay, so there's a difference between the A and the B side. And they're saying this is the B side right here, and this is the A side. Okay, so there is a difference in those. We have the joists 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 joists. So let me see how that looks. Joist needs 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're saying this isn't a joist out here. Okay. So We'll cut these let me move this up. We'll cut these next. These relate to these pieces here. And when we have these pieces, then I'm sure we'll do these other pieces. And I think we can build it in place. Let me see about what documents we need to move around here. I like working with the smaller one if I can, but if I have the bigger one, then I would just pin this to the page, pin this to the work surface also. So let's see what we have here. There we go. Okay, so it's this piece that we're working on next. So I'm going to go ahead and remove everything else so that I can just focus on this, and we can address this successfully. Oh, I'm going to need to get more nails for the rest of you. Hold on, let me write that down. Okay, so here we go. It looks like we have a really nice way to measure our joists, and it says cut 6. So it says 5 and 6 are the same. 5 and 6. Okay. So let's secure this to the bottom. Now, if any of you need more nails, you just let me know, and then I will break them out of another kit. Let's see. Yes. I'm trying to pull the slack out of this, but there is a lot of curl in this page. I've tried to keep a lot of the weight on this, a book, to flatten it out, and it really has not worked out for me. So it's going to take extra nails to hold this in place to work on. I like how mostly flat this is. Just one more down here. Okay, I think we're ready here. So we have this fire stop corner spacer, joist spacer. Oh, they're putting these in here. Let me look at that. Yeah, they're putting those in there. That will help with the spacing. And then why do they not expect us to need something around the outside? Oh, okay. So I'm looking like way down here. There's down here on the paper, there's two more things. That's going to be a little harder to show. I'll swing the camera down. Oh, I can't go more than 90 degrees with this. That's frustrating. Okay, so we're down here. And so like, I'm going to be cutting all these here. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 pieces here, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to be doing 10 cuts. And so we're gonna see how that all goes. I'm gonna go ahead and write on these just to keep them super obvious which one's which. And I'm gonna start with these bottom ones so then I can move the camera back a little bit so that it can, let's see, I want to try to get it there. Okay, so I just like starting at the bottom. I know I wanted to start here originally, but let's just get these bigger ones out of the way first. I like how these lines extend. These help you see where you're cutting it, even when you have the piece laid on top of it, so that's great. My pencil is not really not sharp enough. I'm gonna go ahead and sharpen it. It's best to always have this super sharp so you can make the lines. All right. So we've done some problem identification today. We have looked at what we're doing. That's nice. It writes so much easier when you have a nice sharp tip on the pencil. So we did some problem identification. The identification is really difficult when you've never done something before. So I think things are going as well as we can hope. Okay, double check this one. Okay, so this is sill, need 1A and need 1B. So this would be our sill A. So I'm just going to write with the pen S I L L hyphen A quote. So this is our sill A. I'm going to put that off to the side for now. And then let's get our sill B. I'm using the same piece. Sand it a little bit. Okay. Sill B right here. Mark your line and a cut on that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and say for this sill hyphen B. Let's double check that. Yep. So I have sill A and sill B. And then here I need header 1 of A and 1 of B. Let's scoot this down a little bit. Remember, this is the 2x10. This is not the 2x4. So it should really match the lines when you're putting it on top of here. This is a little harder because everything's moving around on me, but I think we can get this there. We're going to call this sill B. Oh no, header B. I'm going to just write the letter B on it because that'll be faster. B. And then I'm assuming this means that this goes up. Let's look at that. Yeah, this goes up. This is on B. And A is shorter. So I'm going to put B, and then I'm also going to put an arrow that goes up. Okay. There. And then let's get this other piece. Sand the ends. Make it nice and flat. Okay. Okay, double checking. Nice. So this is going to be A. So I'm going to put the arrow up. A. And then that's going to go over here, right up there. Okay, so I have my pieces on the side. That's looking good. Now I'm going to readjust the camera because I've been working all on the bottom here with this floppy part, and now I can finally get back in more control on my more secure surface. So let's see here. Ready to cut these? Yeah, you need to cut them first. No, there's no way around that. Okay. Okay, so what's really weird is that they have all these lines coming up everywhere else except right here. So I don't agree. I don't agree with that planning. I'm going to make a line that goes up a little bit further up and further down, just to make it obvious. And you'll see why when I lay the wood on top. There, there. It's easy to see the edge. This is my cut side. My X denotes the cut side as I transport it to and from the saw on the job site in real life. Take your time. This one's really tough. Okay. So this is my number 5 and 6. I don't mean it's both. I'm going to just put number 5 on it. Slowly rock it back and forth. Don't try to hurry this process. If you slip, you're going to cut yourself. So you just want to take it nice and slow. Nice. Got a little chip there. I'll just try to hide that on the inside. When I put that on the inside, the end with the chip, I'm going to put in there. Okay. All right. So this is number 6. So we have 5 and 6, identical pieces. Now we're going to go 4, 3, 2, 1. Four. Cut this side. Then let's get the 3. Cut that side. Four. Three. Two and 1. So I have this little piece left here, so I'm trying to use my leftovers before I use anything bigger. Okay. Okay. That 2 is looking good. Let's mark this as 2. The 1 is very short. I think I can get it out of this little leftover piece here. Yes, I can. And that's a tiny amount of waste. That's nice. When we have just a little bit of waste, we've done a very good job maximizing our materials. Don't be wasteful. The materials are too expensive to be wasteful with them. And I don't mean these little pieces of balsa. I mean in the real world. Materials are expensive. Double check. Yep, this is number 1. All right, there we go. Have all those pieces ready. I have all the outsides ready. Makes sense. Makes sense. I think it mostly makes sense. Oh, but once I start building it, I'm not going to be able to see. We're going to have to use our imagination here as we start to build this. I can see that this will be difficult to visualize, but just remember, it's like when you know what's underneath, when you know that there's a certain pattern to what's going on here, it just you can almost like see through the materials. So this is going to be tough, but I know we can do it. Okay? So also, let me bring the frame back in and just talk about the frame. Then this will be the foundation. So then as soon as we're done with this, we can bring it up and we can actually put it on the foundation. So I can move it around a little bit easier. Okay, so here we go. I'm just thinking, about the sequence of how this would get done in real life. So you always start from the sill. You start with the pressure treated on the bottom. We'll need a piece going right here. So this will serve as our balance piece. So this doesn't need to be a special length. This just needs to help keep it in place for now. Okay. That just happens to be the leftovers. So I'm just going to use this, but then you can see it says location of joist support, remove when completed. So we will be taking this piece out. This is just because there's going to be a difference in height. So we're looking at using sill A and sill B. So let's look at our A and B. A side, here's our A side. We're putting this up here. Nope. I am very unsatisfied with this. What's going on here? Sill B. This is longer. Sill A and sill. Oh, what? Okay, so they don't account for what's happening here in the corner. So one of them has to be the longer one. One of them has to be the longer one. And so what it looks like from the diagram is that sill B, side B, is the longer one. Now that means, in my opinion, there is an error in the drawing. It means that there should be a subtraction for sill A that is a little bit more. So it's going to be the width of one of these 2x10s. I'm going to bring my piece on to it and see if it's within my boundaries. Yes, it's within my boundaries. I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to be moving that because it fits within my foundational piece, my foundational support. So I'm just going to go with it. And I know it's sticking out a little bit longer, but that, based on what I'm putting it on, is going to be a non-issue. If it's an issue later, then I'll address it later. But I'm going to try to do it with the cuts the way they say, instead of trying to redesign the cuts on sill A. So let me go back down here. So I think that there's a discrepancy here on this piece. I think that sill A should actually be shorter, and the amount it should be shorter is this amount, so that width. If you really want to go and do that, I'm just going to show you really quickly. And I don't want this to be confusing, but some people will want to try to make it come out even. Then it would actually be over there. Okay? So up to you what you want to do with that. I have these two pieces ready to go. These pieces I'm going to secure to the foam. I'm going to start with side B sill, because that's the one that is the one that runs across. So I'm doing this more for alignment. I'm grabbing my nail and I'm going in at an angle. I'm grabbing my nail. Actually, maybe I just need to go straight down. Yeah, just go straight down for now. I'll want to get these out later. I'm actually not going to put it in at the angle. I'm going to pull this out. Let's go straight down. The nail will protrude, so be careful about dragging your hand on the nail. This is not ideal, but also they have to come out easily. And so how am I going to reach in here and grab these out once I start getting the edges built? So here, I'm lining this up, and we're going to put two nails straight down in here also. Let's put one right here. And let's put one next to it over here. Normally, these would be held on by bolts, and the bolts are wet set into the concrete. So there would be holes in this, and we'd be putting washers and nuts to hold this down to the foundation. Okay, the next pieces are going to be, I already made a mistake with that. Maybe this is why. I grabbed side B with the arrow up instead of sill B. That's it, never mind. There was not a discrepancy. This sill B on side B, this marking is wrong. Sill A actually goes all the way to the edge instead of stopping prematurely right there. So that goes all the way over there. So I would do this one first. And I know we're just about out of time, but I think this was a good thing to see that each piece is very specific in what we can accomplish with it. This is lining up perfectly. Okay, so then just to talk about the next pieces. Okay, so that's the one that just floats there as a support. And then we have A and B. And I know we're almost out of time. So here's the A, and then that's going to go up on its edge. And then here's the B, and the B is going to go up on its edge, except the B is going to go all the way up here. So I would put that one in first. I don't think these nails are going to be long enough. I'm going to go at an angle. That's nice. Do it at an angle. I don't think it's going to go completely in from the top. So you're going to have to go in. You're going to have to go in at like a 45-degree angle from the edge and go down. This angle is really terrible, so I'm going to need to stand up. I might block the camera for a second, sorry. So I'm going in at that angle from the outside face, and I'm getting in there. Okay, I'm leaving it a little bit protruding so I can pull it out. And then here is the other piece. Here's A. And then we're going to go up there on that edge. And then once we have that, then we can lay out all the other joists. So then we would go 6, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so that's where we're going next. So we are looking at attaching these pieces, and these joists, I just put them in there for a visual so you can see where we're going. There. That's very close to where we're going. It's going to be very difficult with the orientation being the way it is to build it. This is going to be our hardest build just yet. But don't worry, we're going to get through this. I have no doubt. So I'm going to remove the extra pieces that are in the way right now and put them back on the side. So all these were cut. All these are cut and labeled with their numbers. Okay, number 5, number 6. So those all, of course, line up to the drawing here. Let's keep them all separate. Okay, so this is our next one here, and we're getting this to stand up. This is going to be hard because of the angle. So I'm putting in the nail from the side. I think it's going to be easier to go in from this side first, but I might block the camera. I'm going to try and do it left-handed, and I hope I don't poke myself. There we go. Nice. I'm going to do another one on the edge. It really wants to flex in. I'm going to try to put one straight down, but I don't think it's going to be long enough to hold anything. Let me just try it anyway. Well, I can actually look at it right here. So if I put that one straight down, it doesn't even make it out the bottom. So no point in that. I'm going to go in from the end. And sometimes they call this toe nailing. I think that's like loosely what I'm doing here, but you're kind of going in from the side instead of perpendicular to the face of the member that you're trying to join. There we go. That's great. Okay, so there is this loose piece down here at the bottom. The loose piece just supports these joists 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as we lay the joists down. And then we will be able to follow with more nails from the ends and the joists. And I think that will give us some structure. It really needs to be complemented with subfloor for it to really stay together. So we're going to try the best we can, and we're just going to go for it. I don't see any. Oh, no. I thought I was going to make some more lines to make this a little bit easier to see, but no. I like the way it looks right now. So we have an L shape. We have the sill. The sill is labeled sill. Our sill is kind of poking out a little bit. Or maybe it's not straight. Oh, this is bowing in a little bit. I don't think that's gonna matter, but I might push it out. I might push it out when I nail it from the top to the subfloor to get that flex out. Just want to get that out. Actually, I'm gonna put a nail in it right now. This nail might be complicated later, but this is just bugging me. So let's get that in, going at an angle. Okay, so the nail's in there. It seems to be holding it steady. Great. Okay, that's less annoying. Let's get going. I'm going to work from this side, working that way. And that's just because I'm right-handed. I think it's going to be a little easier. So this is joist 6. Let's take our joist 6 and put our joist 6 in place in alignment with the drawing below it. With it carefully aligned, we're going to nail it from the back. Now this can be difficult when you push the nail in your general direction. So I want to make sure you understand that you can poke yourself if you're not careful. So please be careful. Boy, this is super tough. This is super tough. This is bending the nail. Dang. Okay, well, I had a big slit. I'm glad it didn't poke me. The nail is all the way through, but the piece did not accept the nail. Now I am super concerned about this. So I'm just going to try to push it in. Wow, it's this piece. This piece is extremely dense. I'm going to switch it out for piece 5 right now since they are identical to see if I can have any better results with piece 5, although I think they were cut from the same piece. This is just all really hard stuff. Okay. What's the best way to do this? It's just going to be really tough. Position yourself appropriately. Make sure your alignment is true. Slowly trying to introduce the nail through both pieces. That is not going well. I'm switching to the hammer. I am not happy with this at all. Wow, this is so tough. Okay. I'm trying to assess this situation to see what kind of solution that I can come up with to push this nail in. No. I need to think carefully about what materials you have right now. I'm going to the toolbox. I'm going to the toolbox and I'm getting the square. I need to apply some back pressure to this as I hammer it. This is not ideal in any way. Pressing firmly down with my hand. So I'm going to get that in frame, pressing firmly down. I'm going to try to tap this some more. That seemed to do it. That's in. I wish I could tell you that it's over, but we need to put 2 in to keep it from twisting. Not good. Missed. That one went in actually very easily. I didn't need to do that. I must have hit some type of imperfection in the wood, some type of knot in this little piece that was just super dense. So, wow, did not think I needed to pull the hammer and the rafter square out. Keep those out as we go into this next, the next one. Now, I'm going to try to get the piece 6 into this 5 spot, and these are identical pieces in identical sizes, so I just thought it would be a little easier for me. So let's try that. That's going in a lot nicer. Yep, no problem with that. The wood, it was totally the piece just right there, and not even the whole piece either. I'm glancing out. That starts happening. Pull out the nail and insert it again. We got two nails, one on the top and one on the bottom. Make sure your alignment is true and keep this floating piece underneath to support them. It's not as essential now, excuse me, it is essential now that you support these with this floating piece. This piece isn't secured to anything. We'll remove it soon. Okay, we're going on to piece 4. So we have our piece 4 here. There we go, that's looking good. Grab my nail. There we go. The first one's always the hardest because the whole piece moves on you. Now the second one, let's go below. There we go. Hold firmly down so you have that back pressure. Number 3 is next. Let's get our number 3 in there. If you bend the nail, remove it and throw it away. There we go. Piece 2, joist 2. There we go. Also very hard to get that one. Nice. And finally, down to our last joist 1. This one is mostly supported by the sill, so it's just sticking out. So just 2 nails will do for this. This one's so small, don't poke yourself. I'm glad that one went in easier. Okay, so we have everything in place. We have all the joists all properly spaced. And it says we have some fire stops and some corner spacer, a corner spacer, and a joist spacer. Okay, well, we can cut some joist spacers, but I think we already, oh, see, I already nailed them. I guess what would have been more useful is if I used a leftover piece. Let's see what No, that's way bigger. I wonder what that was. Need 3. I can try to get a piece of my plywood. I don't think that's as useful as using just some of the leftover 2x4. So I'm just going to jump in with this piece, sand it a little bit, and try to demonstrate what this would even be used for. There we go. Okay. So this joist spacer is this, I believe. But the alignment is a little bit different. So I disagree with it. I disagree with its sizing on that. So let me see what the corner spacer, is that going to be? Nope. And the fire stop is the same. Nope. I'm really not seeing these being compatible. So I don't like these sizes of these things. My cut was a little long, so I'm gonna sand it a little bit more and see what I can get in on this. Yeah, that was it. It just needed to be sanded a little bit. So this piece, you could do like a little piece here. You could do a little piece here, a little piece here, a little piece here. Usually that goes like straight across, but this is like a really weird cutaway. So these are basically optional, but they would help us hold these things in place, like further in, like right there. We could have a better structure to that. I don't know how much extra stuff we have at this point, so it's hard to say if I think this would work out with the amount of wood that we have. I'm going to hold off on that and see if we just can't nail it to the subfloor and see how that goes for us. But if you did have some extra pieces, like you could put them in between, in between these and go in a zigzag. I think that would help keeping it as far out as possible based on the piece that you're doing. So this one would be the furthest out, this one would be the furthest out, there would be the furthest out there. And so just acknowledging the differences with that. I think the reason I don't fit over here is because my alignment's a little bit off. That's okay. I'm not going to take those out. Okay. So having looked at that a little bit, I'm trying to see what would happen next. So if we have those in, then we're ready for the subfloor. Okay. The sill is usually pressure treated. I just want to emphasize that. So here we go with the subfloor. The nails that we have holding in the bottom need to come out at this point. So let me think which ones I can reach. I can reach this one from the side, and I can reach this one from the side, but I can't reach these. So I'm going to go ahead and pull these out now. You're out. You're out. So I can pick this up later, okay? That's what I'm going to be doing with that. Now for this, I'm going to be putting my subfloor down on the corner. And I tend to like to start with the larger piece. So that's just what I'm doing there. Seems like it's very well aligned. So I'm going to go ahead and get some nails into this. I'm going to start on the perimeter. There we go. One. How many? Let me think. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a little easier. Missed it. So if you miss it, it's just going to slide right in. That missed it as well. Oh, bent it. Extract this nail. The piece is super hard. Nope, missed it. Got it. Okay, so I think we're pretty well secured there. And without getting too into it, you want to adjust these and get them aligned and then put another nail in from the top. This whole thing is going to start moving when we take it off of the bottom, the work surface. So just try to align it and get a nail in it. This will help stabilize this whole piece, and you'll see a lot of rigidity in your design start to happen. As you're starting to use the hammer, if you choose to use this, be careful not to smash your fingers. It sounds so cliche, but it is really what happens with the hammer when you're not paying attention. It happens all the time. I'm thinking about this, and As soon as I get a few more nails into these joists through the subfloor, then I'm going to pause before I do this. I'm actually going to break out my foundational piece and then move it directly over to that. There we go. Look at that. This is looking great for us. Nice. There we are. Great. I'm just doing 2, so this one's really close to the edge, so there's only room for 1. 2, 2, then I'll do another 2 and another 2. Our goal is to keep these joists that are floating aligned. And so I'm aligning it with the drawing, and then I'm driving in this nail. It's extremely difficult. Great. Last 2. And then we're going to pick this whole thing up. Oh, I tried to push it in. Now I throw that nail away. Find a new spot. Don't return through that spot. Nope, bent it. It's too hard. Throw that away. Dang it. The last one always provides some excitement. This is tough. This is tough. I'm going to put in my piece, my cutting surface piece. Last chance. I'm going to try much further back, see if I can have some luck with this. It's extremely tough and I don't see it working out just yet. So I'm going to just go ahead and leave this a little bit protruding for now. I think I'll be able to see it a little bit better on the bottom. Let's see. Maybe I can go even further back. Oh, and if you're wondering how to find this line, this is the line. Go in between those two. So I'm going to go a little bit further back and see if I can get one to hold it. Not expecting it to actually work, but just, let's see. This is extremely hard. Okay, so those two are kind of holding it in place. I'm not really liking that. That would be a candidate for a little bit of glue, in my opinion. The piece is just extremely dense. So now I'm going to pull this whole thing off and move it over onto the foundational piece. So as I pull this off, I can see that I have some nails protruding. So I want to push those out right now. Push that out. Push that out. I just have those two in there, so that's good. And now I grab my foundation piece and put it in here. Now, the foundation piece runs all the way up to the corner, and then from there, we might be able to get another nail in. So I'm just going to try to put a nail into the pine wood and hold it in. That's looking pretty good. I don't like that alignment though. So I'm going to take this out and move it over and try again. There. That's what I'm seeing is really working. Okay. And here. Okay. It looks like I've successfully attached this to the floor. And I'm going to try to get a few more nails in at a diagonal going in to hold this down. So this might stick out a little bit. Nope, that's great. That's great. So that's like a third holding it down. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. It's not super on there, but I want to make sure that I can take it off if I need to. And so here's what this is looking like so far. I'm going to try to get another one in here before I get the other piece of subfloor on. The good part about working with something like this is I can reorient the piece for myself. And by reorienting the piece, then I can get a better angle on what I want to secure. Now the next item would be this. So I'm going to have a lot of flex if I try to do this on the outside. So I'm going to stick to my nails just over here, and then maybe I would just put a little bit of glue right there to hold it. Do not nail on these now because there's nothing supporting them underneath. That's a problem. Oh, I could do that though. Wait a minute. I'll put something in for the gap, and then that will allow me to do the nailing. But unless you have something to support the weight, you can't do the nailing. Okay, I have 3 extra pieces here. So let's see how this floating piece would work. If we could just put these in here. So I'm just putting them in here, trying to scoot them in. And then I'm going to put my other piece on top. Yeah, okay. So that can support the weight if you want to do some nailing like that. But that's definitely like a more advanced technique here. So I'm actually going to move this closer in. Yep, right there. Now with something supporting the weight on the bottom, I actually could put the nails in. But if you you're at home and you can't support this, then just get some glue. This is extremely hard going in. I'm not going to force it. I almost just need a really small drill to be able to do that. Because if I drilled it first, then I'd be able to put the nail in a little bit better. So the nails are protruding quite high, but I'm just holding it in position. I guess the moral of that story is the nails didn't want to go in anyway. Last moment. Extract. Get my cutting surface in here so I can pry it out. Throw that nail away. The density of this balsa is very high, so if you're having some trouble with it, that's understandable. There we go, the last one. If I move this around directly under where I'm going to nail, I might be able to nail these in. Gently, slowly, ever so gently. It's not a race, because if you have to take the nail out, you failed. You failed to do it. Remember, do not nail these without a support system underneath your nailing. You will shatter your balsa wood. You'll just go right through it. There are some other pieces over here. I'm going to try to extend this support under it, reaching all the way over here so I have my support clearly underneath this piece. Nope. Okay. That's all the way in. Now I'm going all the way to the back. Right there. I have my support clearly underneath where I'm going to be nailing. Slowly, slowly, slowly. This looks great. Get my support structure out of there. Let's look at it from the bottom. We have no protruding nails. Great nail alignment. We can handle this pretty nicely if we want to manipulate it now. And we appear to be done with this. I think they're just calling it corner construction. So this is the corner subfloor and joist unit. Okay, there we go. So we'll be moving on from there. I think that means that we'll be raising the walls next. That's just my guess. So got quite a bit done today. Hope you have enjoyed this building process.